Hello and welcome to another episode of Do You Want More? UFC Stat Show right here on the Monkmatics channel. I'm your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this very episode, we're going to be breaking down all the statistics for the 5 fights on the main card for UFC 268, headlined by Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. So without further ado, let's jump right into the numbers here. First fight of the main card, Frankie Edgar going against Marlon Chito Vera. Bantamweight fight, Frankie Edgar 5'6", 68-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 40 years old, 24-9-1 professionally, 18-9-1 in the UFC. Let's see, 58% of his fights have gone the distance. 30% have ended by knockout TKO, 7 wins, 3 losses, and the remaining fights are 4 submission wins. Average fight time in the UFC, 16.5 minutes. Ass whip index, 7.25. That is 20th highest out of 78 bantamweights. Power index, 0.18. Chindex, not very good, 0.64. 49th out of 78. Frankie Edgar opened plus 170, currently plus 139. Chito Vera, 5'8", 70-inch reach. Switch stance fighter, 28 years old, 19-7-1 professionally. In the UFC, 11-6. 48% of his fights have gone the distance. 3 wins, 7 losses. Wow. 22% have ended by way of knockout TKO, 6 wins. And he has 8 submission wins as well, never been finished. Average fight time in the UFC, 11 minutes. 4.24 ass whip index, 0.68 power index. That is 26th highest out of 78 bantamweights. And a perfect Chindex of 0. Opened minus 200, currently minus 168, so a bit of money coming in on Frankie Edgar. I'm capping this 42% for Edgar, 58% Chito Vera. Let's see, advanced line statistics. Edgar currently lined as the dog, 4-5-1 as an underdog in the UFC. Vera 8-2 as a favorite. Several finishes from Frankie Edgar, 5 KO wins, 2 submission wins, and 5 KO wins, 4 submission wins for Vera in fewer fights. 5 first-round finishes between them, 6 in the second, 3 in the third, and together they've been finished 3 times in the first. All right, we'll move on to some striking numbers. Basic striking data, 3.7 strikes landed per minute, and if I say strikes, I do mean significant strikes. 39, almost 40% accurate. Edgar gets hit with 2.71 strikes a minute at a 67% defense, 0.99 strikes landed per minute differential, 26th highest number out of 78. Positive efficient, 74.5% of his total fight time has come at distance. 3 knockdowns in the UFC, 8 knockdowns against. He's won only 66.6% of the fights in which he scored a knockdown, and he's lost only 50% of the fights in which he has scored a knockdown. Chito Vera lands 3.91 strikes a minute at a 51% accuracy, gets hit with 4 strikes a minute at a 52% defense, negative striking differential. He is positive, efficient, spends only 59% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Has 5 knockdowns in the UFC, 0.4 knockdown per 15 rate, never been knocked down. Takedown data. Edgar lands 2.28 per 15 minutes at a 31% accuracy, gets hit with under 1 takedown per 15 at a 65.6% defense, 5.2% takedown shooting rate, 16th highest in the division. He is negative efficient though. Marlon Vera lands less than 1 per 15 at a 42% accuracy, gets hit with just over 1 per 15 at a 69.7% defense. So a much better defense than Edgar rather. 1.8% takedown shooting rate, positive 12% efficiency. So as far as volume, Edgar wins takedowns, but that's about it. Control time, Edgar wins it all. 22% for, 3.55% against, 6-1 control time ratio. 25% of his fight time has been spent inside the distance. Frankie Edgar controls 86% of that fight time, has a 44-second get-up time. Very good. Control time for Vera gets out-controlled almost 2-1 here. 15% for, 26% against. Spends 40.5% of his total fight time inside the distance, controls only 36% of that time, has a very slow get up time, 62nd out of 78th. So when Vera's on his back, he's not doing much. Several submission attempts for these guys. I mean, Frankie Edgar, 100% submission attempt or submission defense rate. Advanced significant striking data. What's jumping out at me here? Pretty run-of-the-mill numbers for Edgar. Offensively, he's towards the lower end of the division, the bottom half. And then Vera, much higher as far as accuracy. The volume, though, is going to go... Actually, they kind of split the volume. Head strikes go to Edgar. Legs and body go to Vera. Edgar, positive efficiency in 3 categories. Positive differentials all around. And then Vera, same thing, except negative differentials almost all around, except for leg strikes. Vera mixes his strikes up very well. 64% of all strikes thrown have been targeted to the head, 20.5% to the body, and 16% to the legs. Last 5. Edgar is 2-3, Vera is 3-2, and here's where the numbers all lean towards Vera, with the exception of the striking defense and the number of takedowns landed against. But otherwise, the takedown defense from Vera, 83%. No takedowns even attempted on Edgar in his last 5 fights. In the ass whoop index for Vera, 7.18 compared to -6 almost. And then that 0.51 chindex. Frankie Edgar been knocked down twice in his last 5 fights. Marlon Vera, categorical trends, trending up in 6 of 8 categories. And he's improved his striking accuracy 9% over the last 5 compared to his career. His takedown defense is up 13.5%. Meanwhile, Edgar only improving in 2 of 5 categories. And his striking defense dipped down almost 12%. Takedown accuracy down 22%. Significant strikes landed against per minute, -3 over Edgar's last 5 compared to his career. My goodness. And then strength of schedule, this is all going to be Vera, with the exception of the actual strength of schedule is very, very close. Vera close. Last 5 fight history, here's how that plays out. Frankie Edgar, like we said, 2-3 with losses to Sandhagen. Oof. Zhang and Max Holloway beating Pedro Munoz and Cub Swanson. Vera losing to Aldo and Yadong, beating Sean O'Malley, but don't ask Sean O'Malley. And then we'll go on to some graphical analysis here. Edgar getting outstruck, and his opponents are trending up in that category, but he still has the takedowns and control time, just shutting his opponents out in those categories over the last 5. Marlon Vera, way above his opponents in striking, but trending down. Takedowns, he is trending up, and then control time as well, trending way up and above his opponents. So we have nothing to complain about there. Visual statistical recap, Edgar covering way more real estate, but Vera has the striking numbers and the takedown accuracy. Vera never been finished in his career. Edgar has been chin checked. And then the strength of schedule, like we said, is going to go to Vera, and it's not too close. Aggregate win-loss and finish rates. Excuse me, I kind of use these to help me decide if I'm thinking about betting a fight inside the distance or not. In their career, usually I just add up the finishes and wins, finishes in losses, and if they add up to over 100, I'll start to think about it. These are very low. Not too many finishes from these guys, especially in their losses, which is kind of what I look for when I'm checking to see if a fight's going to finish. So I think Vera wins this. I think Vera wins this by decision. Next fight, Shane Burgos. Going against Billy Quarantillo, featherweight fight. Burgos, 5'11", 75-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 30 years old, 13-3 professionally, 6-3 in the UFC. Only 25% of his fights have gone the distance. 43, almost 44% have ended by way of knockout, 5 wins, 2 losses, and then he has 5 submission wins as well. Average fight time, just under 12.5 minutes, 3.67 ass whoop index, 0.75 power index, that is 23rd highest out of 75 featherweights in the division, and then a 0.74 chindex. Not what you want to see, far from perfect. Burgos opened -170, currently -201. This fight is plus 100, does not go to decision. Quarantillo, 5'10", 70-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 32 years old, 16-3 professionally, 4-1 in the UFC. 42% of his fights have come by way of KO TKO ending, 7 wins, 1 loss, and 5 sub wins for Quarantillo, no sub losses. Average fight time just barely more than Shane Burgos. 14.05 ass whoop index, 5th highest number in the division. 0.52 power index, and a 0.39 chin index, not where you want to be. Quarantillo opened plus 145, currently plus 165. I'm capping this 53.5% Burgos, 46.5% Quarantillo. Burgos currently lined as the favorite, is 6-3 in the UFC as a favorite, and Quarantillo is 1-0 as an underdog. Very interesting fight here. 2 finish wins for Burgos, or 2 knockout wins and a sub win. And same stats for Quarantillo in less fights. Let's see. Excuse me, I think I'm starting to lose my voice. I've done a lot of recording so far today. Striking data. 7.29 strikes landed a minute for Shane Burgos. That is the 2nd highest number in the division. He throws over 14.5 strikes a minute. 49.8% accurate, gets hit with 6.1 strikes a minute, which is 71st out of 75. At a 59% defense, 1.18 strikes landed per minute differential, 18th highest in the division. Positive efficient, 83.75% of his total fight time has come at distance. 6 knockdowns, 0.81 knockdown per 15th rate. That is 8th highest rate in the featherweight division. Has been knocked down 5 times though, as the 6th lowest, or 6th lowest knockdown against per 15 in the division. Quarantillo lands 6.22 strikes a minute, 8th highest, at a 61% accuracy, 3rd highest. Gets hit with 4.17 strikes a minute at a 44% defense. Positive 2.05 strikes per minute differential, 7th highest number in the division. 2 good strikers here. Positive efficient, spends only 33% of his total fight time fighting at distance. 2 knockdowns for, 1 knockdown against. Basic takedown data. Burgos, hardly anything. 2 of 2 in his whole career. I mean, he has a 90% takedown defense. My goodness. That is huge. Only a 0.12% takedown shooting rate. He's not taking you down. He's not shooting on you. 89% efficiency. 1st in the division. So if he does want to take you down, he can. And you're not taking him down. Quarantillo, 40% takedown accuracy, 50% takedown defense, or 56% rather. 3.14 takedown shooting rate, negative efficient. Control time. Shane Burgos getting out-controlled 2-1. 16.2% of his total fight time has come inside the distance, and he's only controlled 34% of that fight time. Pretty slow get-up time as well. Quarantillo out-controls his opponents 40% for, and then 27% against. 66.76% of his total fight time has come inside the distance. That's the 8th highest number in the division, and Quarantillo controls 60% of that fight time. Quicker get-up time than Shane Burgos, and a longer hold-down time as well. Billy Quarantillo submission attempt rate 1.26%. That is the 14th highest number in the division. Already with 8 sub attempts in 5 fights, 1 of them successful. Advanced significant striking data. Quarantillo owns every category as far as accuracy for the most part. Head, body, and legs, I should say. And then defensively, it's going to be Quarantillo as far as volume. Advanced significant striking efficiency and differentials. Burgos, positive efficiency everywhere. Billy is negative in 2 categories, but Billy with the 1.53 head strike differential per minute, 1.51 ground strike differential per minute. My goodness. Last 5, Billy's numbers will be the same, but Burgos, we can take into account that ass whoop index dropped all the way to almost 0. Power index has dipped, and chin index has gone up from 0.6 to 1 in his last 5. Yeesh, I don't know. Burgos is going to have to rebound. This could be a Quarantillo surpassing, the pack of the featherweight division after this fight. Who knows? I mean, takedown accuracy from Burgos, we're down 100% in his last 5 compared to his career. Significant striking defense is down 8%. Takedown defense is down 8%. Strength of schedule, this goes to Billy Quarantillo over the last 5. And it's not, I mean, we're a couple points up in every category. Shane Burgos 3-2 in his last 5. 72 strength. I mean, these are pretty good numbers. We're all over 70. But Quarantillo's lowest number is 72.37. He's got an 86 strength to defeat. Burgos losing to Barbosa and Emmett with wins over Marcani, Swanson, and Holloway. Quarantillo with that loss to Gavin Tucker. Interesting. Burgos outstriking his opponents, but trending down slightly. No takedown game to speak of, and he is getting out-controlled at over 2-1. Opponents trending down, though. Quarantillo trending down in striking, but he's way above his opponents. Right, pretty even as far as takedowns and trending up. That Gavin Tucker fight kind of fucked him. And then the control time, he is above his opponents, but trending down. Visual statistical recap. Tons of real estate here for Burgos, with Quarantillo edging out in accuracy and grapple control percent. Neither guy has ever been submitted. Both guys been knocked out. And then, like we said, strength of schedule is going to be Billy Quarantillo here. Aggregate win-loss and finish rates. Lots of finishes as far as their professional career, and we're over 100%. We're 110% here as far as the UFC. That said, I think this fight's going to go the distance, and I was leaning Burgos, but I'm going to have to go back and look at that again. I just don't know. Those numbers from Quarantillo are really good. Banger fight coming up here. Justin Gaethje going against Iron Michael Chandler. Lightweight fight. Gaethje, 5'11", 70-inch reach. Orthodox fighter, 32 years old. Where am I at here? 32 years old, almost 33. 22-3 professionally, 5-3 in the UFC. Only 8% of his pro fights have gone the distance. 84% of his professional fights have come by ending, TKO ending. 19 wins, 2 losses. He also has 1 submission win and 1 submission loss in the UFC. Average fight time just under 10 minutes. ASWAP index 1.38. 45th out of 80 lightweights in the division. Power index 0.52 and Chindex 0.16. Pretty much as low as you can get without it being 0. Gaethje open -140, currently -199, and I did do these odds last night, so they're probably a bit different. But that's cool. Michael Chandler, 5'8", 71-inch reach, Orthodox fighter, 35 years old. Uh-oh. I changed my scene on you guys. I fucked up. Well, here are the stats that I just talked about. Michael Chandler, 5'8", 71-inch reach, Orthodox fighter, 35 years old. Can't believe I did that. 22-6 professionally, 1-1 in the UFC. 25% of Chandler's fights have gone the distance. Half of his fights have ended by way of KO, TKO. 10 wins, 4 knockout losses. He also has 7 submission wins as well. Average fight time in the UFC, under 4 minutes. Negative ASWAP index. His power index is crazy high, 2.13. His Chindex is the worst in the division, 6.25. My God. Chandler opened +120, currently +162. This fight is lined -259, does not go to decision. Oof. I'm capping this Gaethje 50.5%, Chandler 49.5%. Gaethje currently lined as a favorite, is 2-1 in the UFC as a favorite, and Chandler 1-1 as an underdog. So we'll have to keep an eye on these lines here. Gaethje 5 knockout wins in the UFC, Chandler with 1. 4 first-round finish wins between the two of them. Striking data, Gaethje 7.46 strikes landed per minute, 4th highest number in the division, 59.5% accurate. It's hit with even more, though. 3rd highest, 7.99 strikes a minute, 55% defense, -0.54 strikes landed per minute, 60th out of 80. Very positive efficiency. 94.5% of his total fight time is has been spent fighting at distance. 3 knockdowns, 1 knockdown against. Chandler, Lands 6 strikes a minute, 59% accuracy, 4.09 strikes landed against per minute, 37% defense. Very poor defense. 1.92 strikes landed per minute differential, 8th highest. Negative efficient, has spent only 45% of his total fight time fighting at distance. 1 knockdown, which gives him a huge knockdown per 15 rate, but he's been knocked down twice. 3.84 knockdown against per 15. That is the 3rd highest number in the division. A number you do not want to be high in. Takedown data. No offensive takedown data at all for Gaethje. Has a 69% defense. It's okay. Negative 30% efficient. Chandler. No offensive takedown game. 50% takedown defense. Let's see. Yeah, not much to speak of there. We don't expect this to be a real wrestling bout, I don't think. Gaethje, even though both of these guys can wrestle. Gaethje, 3% control time, 2.5% against, so he is winning that battle, but that's hardly anything to speak of. Spends only 5.5% of his fight time fighting inside the distance, controls 55% of that time, has a 29-second get-up time, 3rd fastest in the division. Michael Chandler, 33% control time, 21% against. Spends 55% of his time fighting inside the distance, and he controls 60.5% of that fight time. Advanced significant striking data. I mean, the accuracy and accuracy at least, and some defensive categories much better for Chandler. Then he has the body strikes landed per minute, and then the head and body defense. But everything else, pretty much Gaethje, who is also positive efficient in 4 out of 5 categories, same as Michael Chandler. Gaethje, negative differentials everywhere except leg strikes. 1.58 leg strike differential per minute from Justin Gaethje. He gets ripped up to the body, ripped to the head, ripped from distance. Chandler, 1.15 head strike differential per minute, over half a distance strike, over half a body strike, over 1.25 ground strikes per minute. Let's see, Gaethje's leg kicks. 32% of all strikes landed, significant strikes landed from Gaethje, have been leg strikes. 6th highest in the division. Leg strikes against for Michael Chandler, 78th out of 80. Oh, no. And that's leg strikes thrown. He gets the most leg strikes thrown at him in the division, percentage-wise. Yeah, he's going to get his legs fucked up. I hope he learned how to check leg kicks. Last 5. I mean, I hope he knows how to check leg kicks, I should say. Gaethje. Last 5, 12.26 ass whoop index, huge power index, and a perfect chindex. His striking numbers are fantastic. 3 knockdowns. Who cares about the takedown game, right? Categorical trends, trending up in 3 of 8 categories. His takedown defense is down 36% in his last 5 compared to his career. Strength of schedule. This is Michael Chandler, and it is very close, actually. Very, very close. Gaethje's strength of defeat is a perfect 100 because his only loss in his last 5 was against Khabib, who has obviously no losses ever. But otherwise, these are 2 fantastic strengths of schedule. Very, very good. I mean, huge wins from Gaethje. Vic, Barbosa, Cerrone, Ferguson. Fantastic. Gaethje, outstriking his opponents, trending down a little bit, but when you're that high up on striking numbers, what do you expect? No takedown game, and then no control time either. What little he does have, it is trending way down while his opponents trend up. Michael Chandler. There's a fly in here. Michael Chandler. Striking 6 strikes 4 strikes against, so we're way above his opponent and continuing to trend up at a very significant pace. No takedown game to speak of, and the control time game is there, and he's still trending up. He gives up a little too much, though. That is a bit disconcerting. Visual statistical recap. Much more real estate here for Justin Gaethje. Chandler never been submitted, and then the strength of schedule is going to go... I guess you have to give it to Chandler, but it's so close. So close. And then, yeah, is this one gonna finish, you guys? I mean, that's over 160, and what's 200? Yeah, so yeah, I think this one's gonna finish. I mean, these two guys are so finish heavy in their career. I'm personally picking Justin Gaethje to win via second round knockout. Um, it could go either way. That's the way I'm going. Next fight, Rose Namajunas, co-main event of the evening. Strawweight championship fight here. Rose Namajunas, Weili Zhang. Rose is 5'5", 65-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 29 years old, 10-4 professionally, 8-3 in the UFC. I mean, 2 wins by knockout, 5 wins by submission. Average fight time in the UFC, 11.5 minutes, 5.8 ass whoop index, 10th highest in the strawweight division out of 37 fighters. Power index, 3rd highest. Perfect chindex. She's minus 110, currently minus 106. Weili Zhang, 5'4", 63-inch reach, 32 years old, 21-2 professionally, 5-1 in the UFC. She has 10 knockout wins, 7 submission wins in her career. Only been knocked out once. Over 10 minutes average fight time, 10 ass whoop index. That is 5th highest in the division, 8th highest power index, and a chindex of 0.37. She's currently minus 117. I'm capping this pretty much a pick'em. Rose as an underdog is 5-1. She is currently a very small underdog. She is 5-1 as a betting underdog in the UFC. Weili Zhang 4-1 as the favorite. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit. 5 first-round finishes between these two. Insane. Striking numbers. Rose lands 4.12 strikes a minute at a 41% accuracy, gets hit with just over 4 strikes a minute, 60% defense, just barely a positive differential there of 0.09 per minute, 15th highest in the division. Positive striking efficiency, spends 69% of her total fight time fighting at distance. She has 4 knockdowns in the UFC, giving her a 0.47 knockdown per 15 rate. That is 3rd highest in the strawweight division. She has power in her hands and her legs. Never been knocked down. Weili lands 6.44 strikes a minute, 2nd highest in the division. She throws the most significant strike volume in the division. 46% accurate, gets hit with only 4.4 strikes a minute, 53.7% defense, 2.04 strike differential per minute. That is 6th highest in the division. Somehow she's negative striking efficient, but 79% of her total fight time has been spent at distance. That is the highest in the division. 1 knockdown in that fight time and 1 knockdown against. Takedown data. Rose lands just under 2 takedowns per 15 minutes at a 53% accuracy. Gets hit with 1 takedown a minute at a 50% defense, 2.34% shooting rate, 3% takedown efficient. Weili Zhang, 1.24 takedowns landed per 15 at a 23.8% accuracy. Perfect 100% takedown defense, stuffing all 3 attempted against her. 24% efficient. Pretty good numbers there, but low volume. Namajunas, control time 22.5%, 8.4 control time against. 31% of her total fight time has been spent inside the distance. She controls 72.79% of that fight time, has the 4th quickest get up time at 71 seconds in the division. Weili Zhang controls, control time ratio 3-1, 15-5%, 20% of her fight time inside the distance, and she controls 75% of that fight time. Incredible. Advanced significant striking data. This is going to lean Weili Zhang for the most part, with a few categories in the defense and accuracy side going to Rose. Significant striking efficiency and differentials were positive in 3 out of 5 categories here for Rose, and the head strike differential 1.4 per minute, but we're negative everywhere else, especially legs, minus 0.95 leg striking differential per minute. Weili Zhang, negative in 3 categories efficiency, a positive 1.25 head strike differential, positive 1 body or distance strike, negative in the body, and then the opposite of Rose here with just under 1 leg strike differential per minute. almost a whole ground strike as well. Weili Zhang, mixing up her strikes much better than Rose is. 66 strikes thrown, or percentage, 66% of all significant strikes thrown have targeted the head, 10% the body, and 23 the legs. 33.5% of all significant strikes landed from Weili have been to the legs. That is the highest number in the division, whereas Rose is towards the bottom of the division as far as eating leg strikes. Something to look out for. Last 5, Weili is 4-1. Rose is also 4-1, but Weili is dominating these categories, with the exception of striking, defense, and then the knockdowns for and against. Everything else, and the control time against, actually. Everything else is Rose. Weili positive differentials, 10.69 ass whoop index, but that chindex is not 0 because of Rose Namajunas kicking her in the freaking head. Rose 1.15 power index in the last 5. Nuts. 4 out of 8 of these categories, Rose is trending up. Takedown defense being one of them, 7% improvement in her last 5 compared to her career. Weili trending up in 3 categories. Strength of schedule. This is Rose Namajunas, and it's not too close. Although she's only fought 3 opponents in her last 5 fights, because she's fought the same person twice. Strength of schedule is looking very good. Rose, her only loss coming to Andrade when she got dumped on her head, but she got her revenge for that. Then 2 wins over Joanna. Very good. Graphical analysis. Rose trending down in striking, while her opponents trend up. She's trending down in takedown while her opponents trend up. And then control time as well, trending. I mean, we need to see some. Who am I to say? We need to see some improvements from Rose. But in her last 5, she is trending down in all categories. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's working for you. And with Trevor Whitman as your coach, what am I gonna fucking tell you? Nothing. That's what. Weili Zhang keeping an even keel as far as striking goes. Above her opponents, trending down as far as takedowns, but her opponents have nothing. And then that control time is pretty close, trending down in that as well. Basic fight metrics. We got more real estate for Namajunas, or for Weili, actually. She's also never been submitted. And then that strength of schedule is Namajunas, and it is not close. Aggregate win-loss and finish rates. Huge amount of finishes for these ladies professionally. And in the UFC, it's even more, actually. Crazy. 75% of their losses have been finishes. Over 50% of their wins. That said, it's not high enough for me to think that I think this is going to be a decision victory. Currently, I have Rose picked. That could change 16 times during this week. But I currently have Rose by decision to retain that belt and still. All right, guys, last fight of the card, the one we've all been waiting for. I'm going to nerd out on this fight. I'm going to actually go really quick through this one. Be sure to check out my next video, Usman versus Covington, the tipping point. It's going to be about 15-20 minutes, and I'm going to nerd out on these stats because these are so fucking good. So good. Usman, 6 foot tall, 76-inch reach, switch stance fighter, 34 years old, 19-1 professionally, 14-0 in the UFC. Let's see here. 9 wins by KO, 1 win by sub. Has been subbed once. Over 16 minutes of average fight time, 20.4 ass whoop index, 0.77 power index, and a perfect chindex. Opened -225, currently -311. Colby Covington, 5'11", 72-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 33 years old, 16-2 professionally, 11-2 in the UFC. Let's see here. 4 wins by knockout, 4 wins by sub. just under 15.5 minutes of average fight time, 17.21 ass whoop index, 0.12 power index, which is pretty low, and 0.35 chindex, also about standard for the division. Opened +190, currently +245. I'm capping this 59% Usman, 41% Covington. Record as a big favorite for Usman, 13-0. Record as a big underdog. We don't have any stats. Colby never been a big underdog before. Until now, he is 1-1 as an underdog. 9 decision wins for Usman, 4 knockouts in the UFC. All right, striking data. Usman lands 4.63 strikes a minute, 54% accuracy, gets hit with only 2.4 strikes a minute at a 58% defense, giving him the 4th highest striking differential in the division, 2.23. 12% striking efficient, spends only 46.5% of his total fight time fighting at distance. He has 8 knockdowns in the UFC, never been knocked down. Covington lands 4.12 strikes a minute, 38.5% accurate, gets hit with 2.86 strikes a minute, 55.5% defense, 1.26 strikes landed per minute differential, 11th highest in the division. He has a negative 6% striking efficiency and spends 48% of his total fight time fighting at distance. He has 1 knockdown in the UFC, and he's been knocked down 2 times. Basic takedown data. Usman lands 3.27 per 15 minutes at a 48.5% accuracy. Never been taken down in the UFC. 20 times it has been tried, 20 failures. 5.26% takedown shooting rate. He is 48.5% efficient in takedowns. Covington, 4.61 landed per 15 minutes. That is 3rd highest in the division at a 50.8% accuracy. Gets hit with only 0.45 takedowns per 15 at a 75% takedown defense, stuffing 18 of 24. He has a 5.65% shooting rate, 25% efficient. Pretty good numbers there. Just, this is going to be a theme. Colby with pretty good numbers, but just not quite as good. Usman, control time, absolutely fucking crazy. 52% for, 1.3% against. That is over a 38-1%, or 38-1 rather, control time ratio. Highest ratio in the division. 53% of his total fight time has come inside the distance, and he's controlled 97.45% of that time. 97. Incredible. Covington, 49.5% control time, 2.3% against. That is a ratio of 21-0. 3rd highest ratio in the division. Spends 52% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he controls 95.5% of his fight time. Just absolutely insane grappling numbers from these guys. 46-second get up time for Colby Covington also. Advanced significant striking data. I mean, this is all Usman for the most part, with the exception of leg strike numbers and a couple of clinch strikes. This is all Usman, and a lot of these numbers are top 10. A lot of them. Striking efficiency and differentials, positive everywhere for Usman. Negative striking efficiency everywhere for Colby Covington. He has a negative body strike differential. His head strike and distance strike, pretty good. But we're not, compared to Usman, 1.46 head strike differential. Colby actually has the distance strike. But body striking differential, Usman. Clinch, Usman. Ground, 1.29 ground strike differential per minute from Usman. In fact, 30% of all significant strikes landed from Usman have been ground strikes. 30% of all strikes landed from Usman have been body strikes. Oh my God. Colby takes a lot of body strikes for the division. Last 5, Usman 5-0, Covington 4-1, and Usman is dominating these categories with the exception of offensive takedown numbers. Everywhere else, and I mean literally everywhere else, is Kamaru Usman, and it is not close. Not close. A 20 ass whoop index, a 1 power index, and a perfect chin index. Colby's ass whoop index is almost 10. That's good. No knockdowns, though, and he has been knocked down twice. He has a better takedown per 15 differential in the last 5, but the control time is dominated by Usman, and the strikes per minute dominated by Usman. Usman has improved in 2 of 8 categories over his last 5 compared to his career. Same with Covington. And then we'll move to strength of schedule, which Usman also wins every single category. And it's close, but it's a few points off. But Usman definitely wins with wins over Masvidal, Burns, Masvidal, Covington, and Woodley. I mean, come on. Come on. And they've all been ass whoopings. Every single one. Some a little bit of graphical information here. Graphical analysis. Usman striking way above his opponents and trending down while they trend up, but it's so far it doesn't matter at this point. The takedown numbers are non-existent for his opponents, while Usman just trends up at whatever rate he feels like, and he literally has 0 control time against in his last 5 fights, while he's at 42, almost 43%. My God. Covington outstriking his opponents as well, trending down as well. Takedown game, there is takedowns against for his opponents, but they are pretty even keeled at 0.54 per 15. Meanwhile, Colby is just foot on the gas, 2.72 per 15. And then control time is trending up. I feel like this graph is tilted. It's driving me crazy. Control time is trending up while his opponents are way down at only 2.5%. Basic fight metrics here. Visual statistical recap. Kamaru just dominating. Kamaru never been knocked out. Colby has been subbed and knocked out. And then the strength of schedule, like we said, is going Usman, and it is pretty close, but also not too close. And then aggregate win-loss and finish rate. Is this fight going to finish inside the distance? Numbers would say yes. I'm going to say no. I think Kamaru Usman smashes Colby Covington, and I think he does it. I think he wins a decision, 5-round decision. 50-45, 50-44, something like that. At least that's what I hope happens. I mean, I'm not going to complain if Kamaru knocks him out, but do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. So that's kind of how I'm leaning on those fights, guys. I hope you enjoyed the statistical breakdown of all 5 fights on the main card. Please check out the early prelim video and the prelim video if you just need more numbers. I know I do. So those are live now on my channel. All 3 videos currently, you're getting it in about 90 minutes or so for all the stats for all 14 fights coming at you this Saturday for UFC 268. Be on the lookout. I'm also going to be releasing 2 tipping point videos, probably for the main card and for the co-main, or the main event and the co-main event, probably coming out early Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for checking this out. Thank you so much for hitting that like and that subscribe. And thank you for checking me out next time. Peace out, guys. Have a great weekend. Uh-oh. Okay. False start. Peace out, guys. Have a great weekend.